All right, shalom, shalom. We want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Power. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son, the Mashiach Yahweh Shah. What we doing right now? We going back, and I see mine is look like it's delayed already. How it sound?
Sound good.
Sound good?
So what?
It looked like it's delayed a little bit, but it's all good. We'll make it work. So yeah, we going back into Genesis. We left off at Genesis 15. So we about to start that up. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, what happened?
Nah, just what you just said.
You know what I mean?
That
Yeah.
brought me back.
Let me see. Let me share my screen real quick.
What's that?
I like it.
Share
It's like
system
my Apple
audio.
Watch,
No.
I don't use it.
What's going
I'm
on?
exercising up for my Apple Watch.
All right. Share screen now. Let's see. You can see my screen right up.
Con.
All right. And you hear me good too, Con?
So what? Con.
Why is it?
Yeah.
All right. You ready?
Genesis 15.
Con. Starting from the top.
Book of Genesis, chapter 15 from the top.
Mm-hmm.
After these things, the word of the Most High came unto Abraham in a vision, saying, Fear not, O Abram,
Mm-hmm.
I am thy shield, and thy exceeding great reward.
Mm-hmm.
And Abram said, Most High Power, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eleazar of Damascus?
Right. So at this time, Abraham is getting up there in age. He's probably like in his 80s right now, or close by it. But yeah, around his 80s. So he's getting up there in age, and people at this time starting to have children much younger, around 30s, and so on and so forth. So he like, yo, I'm getting up there. Like, yo, are you saying you gonna give me your list? Like, if I don't have no child, the person who's born in my house or the person who's over my house is gonna take over. It's not gonna be a seed. That's how he was seeing it, right? You can read on.
And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, the word of the Most High came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, for be that, for he be,
But
but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir.
so the Most High is assuring Abraham that, yo, you're gonna have children. Like, don't worry about it. That man is not gonna be your heir. What comes out of your loins is gonna be your heir, right? You read on.
And he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be.
Mm-hmm.
And he believed in the Most High, and he counted it to him for righteousness.
Right. So he believed in the Most High, and Most High told him, yo, this is what it's gonna be, and he believed. So Most High counted as righteousness, right? Read on.
And he said unto him, I am the Most High that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give thee this land to inherit it.
Mm-hmm.
And he
Now we
said,
know what land that he's in right now,
In Canaan.
land of Canaan. Con. That's very important to understand too. At this time, he's in the land of Canaan, which later becomes the land of Israel, right? But read on.
and he said, Most High Power, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it?
So he asking for a sign basically. How am I gonna know I'm gonna inherit this? Right, but read.
And he said unto him, Take me an heifer of 3 years old, and a she goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon.
Mm-hmm.
And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst,
Mm-hmm.
and laid each piece one against another. But the birds he divided not.
Right. Read on.
And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him.
Mm-hmm.
And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
Mm-hmm.
And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance.
Now this scripture right here, do we know what this is talking about?
Egypt.
Nah. I figured
Huh?
you was gonna say that too. Say that again, Ak.
Egypt. I thought it was Mizraim.
Nah, this is not talking about that. This is talking about here.
Down in
And
Babylon.
yes, it's talking about here in Babylon. And that's the reason why I asked y'all that, because a lot of Christians will go and teach that this is talking about Egypt. Let it be known, we wasn't even in Egypt for 400 years, let alone being afflicted. You feel what I'm saying? And we're gonna actually get into that. And one reason why they say that, let's get real quick Exodus 12 and 40.
We only really served them in slavery for 80 years, maybe, right? In the entire time
Correct.
that we were in. Okay.
Correct. We was in slavery in Egypt around 80 years. As a total, we was in Egypt for around 215 years. Right? It was said that we went into Egypt around 1706 BC, and we came out around 1491 BC, which is 215 years. But somebody grab that for me. Exodus 12 and 40.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 40. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years.
Right. So it's saying the sojourning. This is the main reason why they say that. The sojourning of the children of Israel in Egypt was 430 years, right? Now, that's why we're not supposed to stick with just one script. You feel what I'm saying? When you look at a lot of the new ones, it says they lived in Egypt for 430 years. That's absolutely not true. We could go right here, right? We got all our ancient texts. For instance, our main ancient text we have is what?
Torah.
Hebrew?
Our ancient text periods that we have.
Torah.
Most
We have
ancient,
Torah.
huh?
Hebrew.
We have the Torah, right? That's our.
We have the
main-
Torah, yeah, but what Torahs do we have?
I don't know what the Dead Sea Scrolls and stuff.
We got the Dead Sea Scrolls. That's one of them.
The,
Septuagint, the Vulgate.
Yep, the Septuagint, right? There's another main one. Besides the Masoretic text, that's what we're reading with right now. There's another main one. The
Tanakh?
Nah,
Torah?
that's the Masoretic text. We have also the Samaritan Pentateuch.
I got that written down.
Samaritan Pentateuch, right? Now, when we look in these ancient texts, they all say something different in Exodus 12 and 40 than what the Masoretic texts say. But right now, what we're going to get to also is one of our scholars, Josephus. Everybody know he's a first century scholar, right? He lived during the time of Yahushua, right? Let's read. We're going to read. I got this pulled up right now. This is the book of Josephus, Antiquity of the Jews. This is book 2, chapter 15, and I'm going to read at paragraph 2, right? It says, you can see it, right, Ak?
Khan.
You can see my screen?
Khan, I can see it.
All right. It says, they left Egypt in the month of Xanthicus on the 15th day. This is Josephus saying this. On the 15th day of the lunar month, 430 years after our forefather Abraham came into Canaan. So this is the time that the Most High is giving him this prophecy right now is when he came into Canaan. You feel what I'm saying? So he's saying we left out of Egypt 430 years after our forefather Abraham came into Canaan. So this is he's not even in Egypt at this time. Y'all see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But 215 years only after Jacob removed into Egypt, right? So after that, 215 years was when Jacob went into Egypt. It was the 80th year of the age of Moses and of that of Aaron. You was about to say something?
No, the numbers.
Okay. And 80th year of the age of Moses and of that of Aaron, 3 more. They also carried out the bones of Joseph with them as he had charged his sons to do. So Josephus is letting it be known that they was only in Egypt for 215 years. And of course, Joseph was ruling in Egypt when we got in there. So obviously we wasn't even enslaved
Yeah.
for that whole 215 years, right? Now, when we go into here, I got this pulled up right here. This is textual criticism, right? And it actually pulls up. It got the Josephus in there, but it pulls up the Greek Septuagint, which is the most ancient text that we have, right? And I'm gonna read that. It says, "Now the residence of the sons of Israel during which they dwelt in the land Egypt and in the land of Canaan was 430 years." So that whole 430-year timeline is during when Abraham got into Canaan all the way till when they came out of Egypt, right? Also the Samaritan Pentateuch. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel and the fathers of them who dwelt in Canaan and in Egypt was 430 years. Again, it's bringing up the Canaan and Egypt. So we couldn't been in slavery in Egypt for 400 years. You feel what I'm saying? You seeing that, right?
Absolutely.
Let me go back to the other one.
But it's been that long here, though.
It's been that long here. You see, Trump, when he was in office, he signed what's that? The 400 some HR 1490 something he signed up where it commemorated the 400 years of us being over here. Right? When you look at now, we're gonna go back into some more. Let's grab Galatians chapter 3, verse 16. Galatians 3:16. I'm gonna read 16 and 17 when y'all get it. Yeah, Galatians 3:16 and 17.
This is the book of Galatians, chapter 3, verse 16 and 17.
Mm-hmm.
Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made.
Mm-hmm.
He said not, and to seeds as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed, which is Christ.
Mm-hmm.
17. And this
Now we see that the promises was made to Abraham, right? That's what he's talking about. That's what he's getting into, right? But read on.
Verse 17. And this I say, that the covenant that was confirmed before the Most High in Christ.
The covenant that was confirmed, that's talking about the law coming, right? So he said this covenant that was confirmed, that was the promise, right? Read part of the promise, but read on.
Which was 430 years after, cannot disannul, like you can't get rid of it. Cannot disannul that it should make the promise of none effect.
Right. So it's letting it known that law, that promise, that covenant came 430 years after. You know what I'm saying? It was made to Abraham and came 430 years after. Right. Let's go real quick so we could, nail this down, basically get it all in. Let's get Genesis 41.
Stop.
Now we're gonna start at verse 40.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 41, verse 40.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt be over my house.
Now this is the Pharaoh of the time when Joseph was there talking to Joseph. Right, this before the children of Israel came into Egypt in the first place. It was just Joseph there.
When we start at 39, and Pharaoh said unto Joseph,
You could.
it's the book of Genesis, chapter 40, verse 39. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as the Most High have showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt be over my house, and according to thy word, according to thy word shall all my people be ruled.
Right. So he letting them know, like, yo, you're gonna be above everybody in Israel. I mean, everybody in Egypt, right? Read on.
Only in the throne will I be greater than thou.
Mm-hmm.
41. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand and put it on Joseph's, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain around his neck. 43. And he made him to ride in the second chariot which he had, and they cried before him, bow the knee, and he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt.
So he made him the ruler of all the land of Egypt, right? You could keep on reading.
44. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up thy hand or foot in all the land of Egypt.
So Pharaoh's letting him know how much power Joseph's gonna have in Egypt. Yo, nobody can do anything without Joseph say so. So he was running that. That was his, right? But read on.
45. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zabnath Paneah. And he gave him unto a wife as Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all the land of Egypt.
Right. So Joseph was 30 years old when he took over the land of Egypt. The reason why I got this is so we could see the numbers, get an idea of these numbers, right? Joseph was 30 years old when he took over Egypt, right? Let's get Genesis 50, verse 22.
Hey, listen, is this Ramses the second?
No,
that Joseph.
Nah, that was in the Pharaoh that put Joseph in. I cannot remember his name, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Pharaoh.
The ones he's friends with right now. I thought that was Ramses II. It might have been.
Right. I don't believe that's Ramses II, to be honest with you. This is during the 18th dynasty, and this is while there was Shemites that was actually ruling Egypt. Right,
because the dynasty switches over.
Right.
When this Pharaoh dies, right?
Right, exactly. This Pharaoh, he was a Hyksos. You feel what I'm saying? Right. The Egyptians hated the Hyksos, but the Hyksos had control of Egypt for a little while. So this Pharaoh right here was a Hyksos, which was
so when the dynasties switch over, it is Mizraim's direct descendants who recontrol Egypt. Okay.
Say that again.
So like when they took it over, Mizraim takes it back. That's when the our hatred starts.
Right.
Exactly. Our kind starts. Right.
Exactly. Okay. Right. What was he at? 50.
Genesis chapter 50, verse 22. And Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's house. And Joseph lived 110 years.
So Joseph lived 110 years, and he took over at the age of 30, meaning what? He ruled for 80 years. He ruled for 80 years in Egypt. So out of that 215, we see that 80 of those years, we wasn't even in no slavery. You feel what I'm saying? If that makes sense, right? So now we could go to let's go to Genesis 46. Genesis 46. Again, to give an idea of how long we was in there and how we was living in there. Right? Genesis 46 and 6.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 46, verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
And they took their cattle and their goods, which they have gotten in the land of Canaan,
Mm-hmm.
and came into Egypt, Jacob and all his seed with him.
So we're gonna see who went into Canaan, who was already alive during this time, right? You can read on.
His son and his sons with him, his daughters and his sons' daughters, and all the seed brought he with him into Egypt.
Right, now let's jump down to 11 real quick. We're gonna focus on Levi.
And the sons of Levi, Gershon, Kahath, and Merari.
All right, so these is the sons of Levi that came into Egypt, meaning what? They was born in the land of Canaan. You know what I'm saying? So this is the second generation of Levi. Second generation of Levi, well, second generation of the children of Israel, I should say. Right? So let's go to Exodus 6.
So they was already I thought Benjamin was young when they had
Benjamin was young. I remember everybody's older than Benjamin.
He had kids.
He had children, yeah, by the time they went in there. Yeah, he was younger than everybody else. When Joseph went into Egypt, because remember, Joseph went into Egypt around 17 years old.
Right.
He started ruling at 30. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Now Benjamin wasn't a baby, he was a little child. You feel what I'm saying? Now, what did I say? Exodus 6 and 16. Start of 16 kind. So we seeing basically what we just read. Gershon, Kohath, and Merari was all born in Canaan, right? Kohath is the one that Moses come from. What you was about to ask?
No, I was about to read.
Okay, kind of. You good.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 6, verse 16. And these are the names of the sons of Levi according to their generation.
Mm-hmm.
Gershon, Kahath, and Merari. And in the years of the life of Levi were 137 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the sons of Gershon, Libni,
mm-hmm.
and Shimi,
mm-hmm.
according to their families.
Mm-hmm.
And the sons of Kahath, Amram, and Ishar, and Hebron, and Uziel.
Mm-hmm.
And the years of the life of Kahath were 133 years.
So we see Kahath lived to be 133 years, while Kahath was born in the land of Canaan, right? So let's read on. That's the lineage we're focusing on right now. Levi, Kahath, right? And then go on.
And the sons of Merari, Mahali, and Mushi,
mm-hmm.
these are the families of Levi according to their generations.
Mm-hmm.
And Abram took him.
Amram.
Amram.
We see Amram was the child of Kahath. So Amram is actually the first lineage born, the first generation born in the land of Egypt.
Mm.
That's the first generation born in the land of Egypt, right? Read on.
Amram took him Jochebed,
mm-hmm.
his father's sister, to wife.
Right.
And she bare him Aaron and Moses.
So we see Aaron and Moses is of the second generation born in the land of Egypt. Neither one of them lived that long to be 400 years. You feel what I'm saying? To part of that. And the whole time while Aaron was dead, he wasn't in no slavery.
Mm.
The slavery started. It started in the beginning. Let's say around Exodus 1 and 6. Oh, and also real quick, I know y'all seen it said it took his father's sister to wife. Again, that goes into the way it was translated. It's saying basically he took a woman of the same tribe of his father. When you look at the Septuagint, it tells you it's his father's brother's daughter. So he took his cousin to wife. You know what I'm saying? And then when you read, of course, Exodus chapter 2, it tells you a man of Levi, the house of Levi, took a daughter of Levi, basically saying it's still the same tribe. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's grab on real quick. Exodus 1 and 6. Okay, you can finish it, Salakia.
Or you just wanted to hear the Aaron and Moses?
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. But finish
Okay,
that up. That's better. Finish it up.
In the years of the life of Amram were 137 years.
So Amram lived 137 years. He had Moses, who was in Egypt for only 80 years. So there's no way we could get 400 years of captivity in Egypt. Making sense to everybody.
Con.
All right. All right. So we could get to Exodus 1.
So hold on. So I'm lost.
What you mean?
You said Aaron and Moses wasn't in captivity.
Nah, yeah, they started. I said Amram.
Oh, Amram. Oh,
yeah, he wasn't. He was born in Egypt during the time of Joseph. You feel what I'm saying? So captivity actually started around the time when Moses was born.
That's what I thought.
Because they didn't start. Remember, Aaron is 3 years older than Moses. They wasn't killing off the baby boys until Moses' time. Aaron had no problem. You feel what I'm saying? Let's get that real quick.
Just right there, we just read on wherever it was, chapter 6,
mm-hmm.
verse 7. It says, Aaron and Moses was 80 years old or something when they
we can actually go right to that. Yeah, that we was gonna go to that. That's chapter 7.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you read it. Read it. Chapter 7, verse 5.
Chapter 7, verse 7. Start at 5?
Start at 5.
It's book of Exodus, chapter 7, verse 5. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Most High, when I stretch forth mine hand upon Egypt and bring out the children of Israel among them. And Moses and Aaron did as the Most High commanded, so they did. And Moses was 80 years old. So that's what?
80 years old.
80 years old. And Aaron was 83 years old.
Aaron was 83
when they spake unto Pharaoh.
Right. So that's the time we came out. When we came out, Moses was 80 years old. So the time that we went through harsh slavery, you could say it was probably a little over 80 years. You know what I'm saying? You can't say it's no 100 years, none of that. You know what I mean? We could say a little over 80 years, right? Now let's go
Exodus 1.
Yeah, Exodus 1. When it all started.
15.
We start at verse 6.
It's book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 6. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly.
So even right after, we was good for a little while. We were still increasing after Joseph died, right? We read on.
Increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. And there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph.
Meaning he didn't respect Joseph. This was a real Egyptian, a Mizraimite king. And his name was actually Amenhotep the First. This was the king that took over after Joseph. Right? You agreed on?
And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more mightier than we. What did he mean that by? Because we were outnumbered?
Outnumbered, plus we just always was stronger than everybody else and all that. But yeah, we outnumbered them. Like we was populating crazy.
Come on, let us deal wisely with Exodus chapter 1, verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us.
Right, because they already know that we was cool with the Hyksos, which they just got the power over the Hyksos. We was good with the Hyksos, and they was also fighting a lot of battles against Cush. Constantly fighting battles with Cush, and they saying, you know, we might join Cush and help them out also, right?
So basically what they're saying is that all these niggas is in our city and we can't trust them. Basically,
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So they wanted to get us under their foot, right? But read on.
And so they get them out the land. 11. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramis.
Right. So this is when we started basically our hard bondage. This is when we started. It's a little while. This is a while after Joseph was already dead, right before Moses was born. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna get into all that. We'll go back to Genesis 15, but that makes sense, right? Everybody see that. So we came out, and again, Moses was the second generation born into Egypt, the fourth generation of Levi. Y'all see that, right? Matter of fact, huh?
No, what was about to say?
I was gonna say, we could grab Chronicles real quick. First Chronicles 6, just to get that understanding too, because it's gonna come up.
So when did we actually start calling each other Israelites? Israel, because
Israel means a descendant of Israel. Israelite means a descendant of Israel. So we was called that from his first children of Jacob was called that. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. So them first 12 tribes, the forefathers are Israelites. That's when we started called Israelites. Now we're going to First Chronicles chapter 6. Now the Egyptians didn't call us that. They called us Shasu.
Shasu?
Shasu, yeah.
That's the word for nigga.
You can say that. You can say
that's
that.
What they call us. Okay.
I mean, yeah, for them, yeah. They called us the Shasu. The people.
So they were like, all these Shasus are all everywhere. They need a separate Shasu bathroom. We want a separate Shasu water fountain. You know what I'm saying? They can't go to the Shasus can't go to school with our kids.
Right.
Okay, same thing. Yeah.
Right, same thing. Yeah, we're going to First Chronicles. So First Chronicles chapter 6. We want to read 1.
Book of First Chronicles, chapter 6, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
The son of Levi, Gershon, Kahath, and Merari.
So Levi being at first, and then Gershon, Kahath, Merari being the second, right? Read on.
And the sons of Kahath, Amram, Esau, and Hebron, and Uziel.
Right, so that's the third generation, right?
And the children of And the children of Amram, Aaron, and Moses, and Miriam.
So that's the fourth generation right there. 2 generations born in the land of Canaan. Actually, I can't even say that. 1 generation of Levi. Well, Levi himself wasn't born in the land of Canaan, but Levi's children was born in the land of Canaan.
Where was Levi born?
Levi was born in Syria.
That was born in Chaldees, whatever.
Nah, that was in he was born in Syria when Jacob went to go see his uncle Laban when he got his wives.
Oh yeah,
right. So Gershon, Kohath, and then was born in the land of Canaan, and Amram and Moses and then was born in the land of Egypt. Right. So let's go back to Genesis chapter 15. I just wanted to make sure we get that clear because a lot of people feel that that's Egypt, that 400 years now. That's a future prophecy that was talking about here. We did this. This is the only place where we actually did 400 plus years of slavery. You know what I'm saying? There's no other place we did that much slavery time.
Wow.
Right? But yeah, we could read on. Genesis
15 and
2. You could read 15 and 13 again.
This book of Genesis chapter 15 verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
He's saying that's the key. We're going to be afflicted in that land for 400 years. We was not afflicted in Egypt for 400 years. We wasn't even in Egypt for 400 years, right? So you can read on.
And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance.
And afterwards we're going to come out with great substance. Come out with riches, the riches of the world. We're going to own the world.
Now, for some reason, I have a precept written there. Ezekiel 20, verse 40.
You can read it.
I don't know where I got it and what it came from.
You got it on what, verse 14? And it reads, Ezekiel 20, verse 40,
For in mine holy mountain, in the mountain of the height of Israel, saith the Most High that power, there shall all the house of Israel and all of them in the land serve me. There will I accept them, and there will I require your offerings and fruitfuls of your oblations with all your holy things. What is that for?
That's actually very good, because that's part of that great substance where we actually be serving the Most High. We'll be His people. He said He'll actually accept. Yeah, He said He'll accept our offerings. That's a beautiful thing, that we able to sacrifice to the Most High again. He's accepting it. He's taking us back. You know what I mean?
That's all future.
That's all future come, right? But yeah, we could read on.
And verse 15, and thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace.
Right.
Thou shalt be buried in a good old age.
Now it's changing up. You know what I mean? He's letting them know, okay, you're going to go to your father. You're going to die of a nice old age. You're going to be good. You're going to have your children. You're going to die of a nice old age peacefully. Right? Read.
But in the fourth generation.
In the fourth generation, right? Which we just read about them fourth generations, right? In the fourth generation, what?
They shall come hither again.
They're going to come back to this land that I gave you. They're going to come back to this land that I gave you again, right? Read.
For the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full.
The iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. The Amorites being specific Canaanites that the Most High told us to kill off when we get in there anyways. When you read Deuteronomy 7. You know what I'm saying? You can read on.
Verse 17, and it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces.
Mm-hmm.
In the same day, the Most High made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land.
Letting them know this land is yours. Unto your seed. When they come out, they're going to have this land. Right? Read.
From the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates.
So he let them know that's from the river, the Nile River, all the way to the river Euphrates, which is way more than what they consider the land of Egypt now. I mean, land of Israel now.
Funny.
That's part of, it's on the test. Yeah, but all the way from there to now. And then you got like Exodus 23 and 31 also helps you out with the borders of Israel, and Numbers 34, 1 to 22 helps you out. Well, 1 to 12, I mean, helps you out with the borders of Israel. Right? But we can read on.
Yeah, Numbers 34, 1 to 12, Genesis 15.
Verse 19.
Come.
The Kenites,
Oh,
and the Kenizzites, and the Cadmonites,
Uh-huh.
and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Rephaims, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Girgashites, and the Jebusites.
Right.
Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children.
Right. So she didn't have children yet. And
All
again,
those are Canaan, right?
all those is Canaan that he named. As Canaan got bigger, they split up. Only one group kept the name of Canaan. Everybody else, they was calling them after specific members of Canaan. Right? But yeah, we in verse chapter 16. You can read that again, verse 1.
Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children.
And they was up there in age, like they was up there. People we seeing people having children at 30 in their 30s now, and they in their 80s. You know what I mean? So she got a little worried. She said she buried in no children, right? Read.
And she had an handmaid, an Egyptian whose name was Hagar.
Right.
Verse 2. And Sarai said unto Abram, behold now, the Most High hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her.
Right. See, now, a woman it's like a surrogate. People had that even back then, where they'll bear children for that person. Right? If they couldn't.
That today,
Yeah. Right. So she said, she didn't have no children. She was like, yo, I'm old. I can't have no more babies, but the Most High promised you babies. So she didn't have no babies. She's like, I can't have no babies, but the Most High promised you babies. So you know what? Have a baby with my handmaid Hagar. right?
So is she going against what the Most High is saying, or is she saying that like because Most High didn't specifically mention her that he was going to
Most
have
High
babies,
didn't
but
specifically mention her. She knew
Okay.
that Abraham had to have his line go on. You feel what I'm saying?
I see.
But
Okay.
she's saying, "Yo, I'm old. It's just men's way of thinking. We don't think on the level of the Most High." She like, "Yo, I'm old. There's no way I can have a baby."
So she's not
he-
trying to be
he-
wicked. She's just flawed in the way she's thinking about it.
Yeah, it's just it's normal. It's normal thought. It's
Okay.
nothing really bad about that. She didn't go off or nothing because, in all that honesty, all that happened because the Most High wanted it to happen. If
Right.
Most High didn't want if the Most High didn't want Abraham to have a baby with Hagar, he wouldn't have had a baby with her.
And that's Ishmael's mom.
Ishmael, and Ishmael is very, you know, what I mean, intricate in prophecy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes,
too.
he is.
You know what I mean? So the Most High had him for a reason. So he put that thought in her mind, basically. So it wasn't nothing wrong. It's just man ways of thinking. He told Abraham he was gonna have children. He didn't say nothing about Sarah at the time. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay,
So she
I
like,
see.
you know what? I don't want to hold nothing back here. Take my handmaid, and this could be for me.
Oh, okay.
Abraham thought, am I right? Or Abraham thought Ishmael was going to be the heir?
He might have thought, yeah, I think he did do that, think that, and then the Most High told him that's not him,
It's gonna be,
right? Which we're gonna get actually soon, within the next couple of chapters, right? But yeah, you can read on.
Genesis 16, verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian,
Mm-hmm.
after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan.
So this now they in the land of Canaan for about 10 years now. Well, they in the land of Canaan for 10 years now, right? Read.
And gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes.
Yeah, so now she's feeling big. She feeling like, yeah, I'm the master that impregnated me. It's like, well, I gotta listen to you for. You know what I mean? She feeling herself right now. Right? But read on.
And Sarai said unto Abram, my wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Most High judged between me and thee.
Yeah, so she like, yeah, because we knew the how I put it, we knew the order of how things are supposed to go. Everybody's supposed to be under us. You feel what I'm saying? That's her handmaid. The Egyptian is under the Israelite. We wasn't Israel at the time, but she knew she of the chosen lineage. She was of the chosen lineage. Abraham was of that chosen lineage. You feel what I'm saying? So
and, Sarah was getting a little upset, right? And then Abraham had to tell her, like, yo, that's your property.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna keep on reading. That's coming right up. But yeah, she's getting upset about that because, like, yo, hold on, how you bucking up against me? I own you, right? Read on.
But verse 6, behold, Salaki. But Abram said unto Sarai, behold, thy maid is thy hand.
What you was just saying, that's yours. Like, she's in your hand.
Where's that at?
That's right there, verse 6. Thy maid is in thy hand. Like, you own her. That's yours, right? Read.
Do to her as it pleaseth thee.
Do whatever you feel. Right? Read on.
And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face.
So Sarah was going in. And Hagar ran off. Like, she ran away, basically.
Right.
She was sad. Like, Sarah must have been treating her real bad after that. But she ran away. But this
must have went and got that switch. That's what that was. Got that switch.
That was a Judite woman.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
And the angel of the Most High found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way to Shur.
Mm-hmm. So the Most High sent the angel to go get Hagar because she needed to be there at the time. She needed to be around Abraham and Sarah. Right, Reed?
And he said, Hagar, Sarah's maid,
Now he letting it be known. The angel like, yo, you belong to her. You're her servant. You know what I mean?
That's great.
Whence camest thou, and whither wilt thou go?
Uh-huh.
And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai.
Right. And Hagar she's actually, she's showing that yeah, I belong to her. But I'm running from her. But read on.
And the angel of the Most High said unto her, Return to thy mistress, and submit thyself under her hand.
Yeah, don't run from her. Do what she tells you to do. You under her. Right? Read.
And the angel of the Most High said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly.
Yeah, so it was already said and already written that Ishmael was going to be born and that he was going to be great how he is now, right? And let's see these prophecies for Ishmael too. It's crazy. Let's read on.
That it shall not be numbered for multitude.
And so we already know Ishmael. They know that they are the Arabs. The Arabs know. They'll tell you they come from Ishmael. You feel what I'm saying? They know this. Right, and there's a lot of them. They all over, right? But read on.
And the angel of the Most High said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because the Most High hath heard thy affliction.
Right. That means Ishmael means the Most High will hear, or the Most High will hear me. Most High will hear, basically. Right? But read on.
Verse 12. And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man. And every man's hand against him.
And don't that fit? Ishmael go against everybody. They'll stand in the street throwing rocks at tanks. That's a wild man right there, chopping people's heads off with swords. They'll take a dull knife and just cut away. Ishmael is a wild man, right? But read on.
And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren.
And he's going to dwell like they always around each other. They live amongst each other. You know what I mean? And they just have that bond with each other also. But we could read on.
Verse 13. And she called the name of the Most High that spake unto her.
Mm-hmm.
Thou Most High, seest me.
Mm-hmm.
For she said, Have I also here looked after him that seeth me?
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore, verse 14, wherefore the well was called Bir Lahai Roy.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered.
Right. So it's giving you an understanding of the location. Right. But read on.
And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare, Ishmael.
Mm-hmm.
And Abram was 600 years old.
6 years.
Oh, slug. When Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram.
So Abraham was 86 when she had Ishmael. 86 years old, right? Now we can keep on going.
Chapter 17.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so Ishmael is just Saudi Arabia. That, like, I don't.
Ishmael is
so
an
many.
Arab nation,
Yeah,
which is a lot of them.
It's a lot of.
They spread out, a lot of them. Now they
Muhammad
do have.
comes from.
Yeah, Muhammad was an Ishmaelite.
Yeah, I know
Actually,
that.
well, there's speculation that Muhammad was actually an Edomite that took over the Ishmaelites. Like, for instance, in Saudi Arabia right now, a lot of the rulers of Saudi Arabia are Edomites. They descendants of Amalek.
So, like Yemen.
Yemen would be Ishmael.
They all Ishmael.
Yeah,
Persia?
the majority. Persia, you have Ishmael over there. You would have Elamites over there. It'd be a mixture. I would say
Same
majority.
thing was happening in Spain. A lot of the Moorish Spanish rulers, while masquerading culturally as Arabs, are actually Edomites.
You say that again?
A lot of rulers who were masquerading as Ishmaelites or Muslim Ishmaelites in Spain were actually Edomite rulers.
Okay.
One I just read about from a book you suggested.
Yeah, I speak a little louder, Salaki. I could barely hear you.
I said I got all of that out of a book I was reading that you suggested, that 10 tribes in promised lands. That's right.
Okay, yeah, Khan. Oh, you was reading that?
Yeah. I just ordered it. I just got it in, and so I was taking notes, and that's the premise right now, is how a lot of intermixing is going on, and there's a lot of Ishmaelite rulers or calling themselves Ishmaelite rulers, but really they're like 4/4 Edomite, and they know it.
You got to be careful with that book too, because it's not all. It's a lot of bones in it. You know what I'm saying? Where it tells you certain things like, okay, the Israelites was getting killed off so much, that's why they started going by the mother in Spain and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And so you gotta be careful with that. But what we do know in history when it comes to the Moors was a mixture of Moabites, Canaanites, Ishmaelites, and Israelites all together.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there was Edomites. Edomites always, did that tricky thing and got themselves in places, snuck themselves in and tried to get on top. They've been doing that for a long time. So I could definitely see that. But yeah. So with Saudi Arabia, the rulers of Saudi Arabia, the majority of them is Edomites. And the Ishmaelites is on the bottom in that country. But as far as like all them other spots with Yemen and all them other places around there, Ishmaelites, majority, right?
Those my IP, my people back home.
I feel you.
So Sarah had one child?
One child.
And Isaac.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, we could read on.
Okay, verse 17. Genesis chapter 17. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Most High appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty power. Walk before me and be thou perfect.
So this Abraham was 99 years old right here when the Most High came to them. So he was a year off of 100. This is an old man right here, right? Read on.
And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations.
So he letting them know you're going to be a father of many nations, which Abraham was. But the crazy thing is, this is not, Abraham was literally the father of many nations, but this is not talking about many nations. It's really just talking about Israel. Israel became many nations, and it's going to be proven. Just keep that in mind. It's going to be proven as we read on in this chapter.
And so is he calling him perfect or telling him, yo, you're going to be perfect? Or if you walk him up?
Abraham was perfect at the time to the Most High, and he died perfect. Right? We'll read on.
Verse 5, Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham. For a father of many nations have I made thee.
Right.
That's what that means?
Yeah. Father of nations.
And I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee.
Right. When we say make us a nation of kings and priests, right? We'll read on.
And I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee in their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be a most high unto thee and to thy seed after thee.
That he established a covenant with who? Only Israel, which we see. The covenants belong to Israel, right? And matter of fact, let's grab that real quick for those that be watching. Let's get Romans 9.
From the top or at 3?
You can start from the top.
The book of Romans from the top. I say this, I say the truth in Christ. I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Ghost, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. This is Paul speaking, right?
Paul speaking. And say, speaking the truth, right? Read.
For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh.
So he's talking about his brethren, kinsmen, according to the flesh. It's not no spiritual Israelite. This is a fleshly born Israelites he's talking about. Read.
Who are Israelites,
Letting it be known he's talking about Israelites. Read.
to whom pertaineth the adoption,
That adoption, that grafting, and all that pertain, that belongs. Pertain means to belong. That belongs to the Israelites, the flesh and blood Israelites. Read.
and the glory,
All the glory belongs to the flesh and blood Israelites. Read.
and the covenants,
And the covenants, all these covenants, old and new covenant, belong to the Israelites. Read.
and the giving of the law,
Giving the law belongs to the Israelites.
and the service of the Most High,
The services of the Most High, those kings and priests of the Most High, belongs to the flesh and blood Israelites. Read.
and the promises.
All those promises that was made to Abraham belongs to the flesh and blood Israelites. Read.
who are the fathers,
Those are the Most High's people. They belong to the Most High. The Israelites is his people. Read.
and of whom, as concerning the flesh of Christ came,
And concerning the flesh, Christ came. Christ came for those flesh and blood Israelites. Read.
who is over all,
Israelites are overall run everything. Supposed to run everything. Read.
Most High, blessed forever. Amen.
All men, all praises. Right. So let's go back to 17. So we know that them covenants is for Israel. All those promises was for Israel. That was never for anybody else. And the Most High is going to actually make that clear later on as we read. Right. But read on.
Verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan,
Mm-hmm.
for an everlasting possession.
So he's letting Abraham know that he's giving this for an everlasting possession to him and his seed, to his seed after him, really. So that's when Israel came out of the land of Egypt, and that land was given to them. Right? But read on.
And I will be their most high God.
Mm-hmm.
And the Most High said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations.
Mm-hmm.
This is my covenant.
So this was the start of the covenant. This is where this is the sealing of the covenant, right? Read.
Which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee.
Mm-hmm.
Every man child among you shall be circumcised.
So we got to make sure that all our children is circumcised, that we are circumcised as part of the covenant. Now we got to remember, because I done heard men say, I'm a grown man. You know how much that's going to hurt? You think the Most High is requiring that of me? Abraham was 99 years old when he got circumcised. What excuse to anybody else? No anesthesia. Yeah, they taking a knife, a sharp stone or something and just cutting that off. Nobody got no excuse. Nobody has any type of excuse. Abraham, 99 years old, he circumcised himself and his whole house. I think Ishmael was around 13 when he got circumcised, if I'm not mistaken. But let's keep on reading.
Verse 11, and ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin,
Mm-hmm.
and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you.
Mm-hmm.
And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations. He that is born in the house or bought with the money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed.
Mm-hmm. So everybody had to get circumcised, right? Everybody in that house, everybody that want to be around him, they had to get circumcised.
Verse 13, he that is born in thy house,
Mm-hmm.
and he that is bought with thy money must needs be circumcised.
Mm-hmm.
And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant.
That's an everlasting covenant, meaning it's never going away. That covenant is forever. Some people be thinking that they changed up. They hear certain things that Paul say and misconstrue it and think, oh, you don't got to get circumcised no more. No, this is an everlasting covenant. Let's grab on real quick. Ezekiel 40, I believe. Actually, no, 44. I'm bugging. Ezekiel 44, and we'll start at verse 6. We'll start at verse 6, yeah. Because this is a future prophecy too. It's going into a future prophecy, but he's letting us know where we messed up at. Right? You can read it.
Book of Ezekiel, chapter 44, verse 6.
Uh-huh.
And thou shalt say to the rebellious, even to the house of Israel,
Mm-hmm.
thus saith the Most High thy power, O ye house of Israel, let it suffice you of all your abominations.
So he letting it be known all abominations that they committed, right? Read on.
And that ye have brought into my sanctuary strangers, uncircumcised in thy heart and in the flesh, and uncircumcised in flesh.
Showing that uncircumcision of the heart is not a new thing that Paul came up with, which a lot of Christians believe. You know what I mean? It's the uncircumcision of the heart was been talked about. Moses talked about that. And circumcision of the heart, meaning you don't keep the law, you don't want to keep the law. You're not trying to do that. So he letting it be known. That's talking about keeping the law. They not keeping the law, and they not even cut. They not circumcised in the flesh, right? Read.
To be in my sanctuary, to pollute it.
The Most High said that pollutes his sanctuary. If it polluted it then, it's gonna pollute it now. There's no difference. The Most High don't change. If the Most High changes his mind, that means he's not perfect. He ain't know what the hell he wanted in the first place. We know he's perfect. You feel what I'm saying? So he know what he wanted. If he says it, that's what it is. Point blank, period. Right? But read on.
Even my house, when ye offer my bread, the fat and the blood, and they have broken my covenant because all your abominations.
Most High said that's an abomination. You can't send, and it was a law to send sacrifices to the Most High. You couldn't do that if you wasn't circumcised. You can't keep the Passover if you're not circumcised. You know what I mean? The Most High takes that very seriously, right? But read on.
Verse 8, and ye have not kept the charge of mine holy things, but ye have kept, ye have set keepers of my charge in my sanctuary for yourselves.
Right. So he putting people over them that, benefits their wants, basically. That's going to teach them what they want. Right? But read on.
Verse 9. Thus saith the Most High, by power, no strangers uncircumcised in heart.
So he said, no stranger uncircumcised in heart, right? Read.
Nor uncircumcised in flesh.
Or in flesh, right? Read.
Shall enter my sanctuary. Of any stranger that is among the children of Israel.
Yeah, nobody is going to enter his sanctuary uncircumcised in heart or uncircumcised in flesh. So we need to get that done. Brothers need to have that done. If they're not circumcised, they got to get it done and take it seriously. Now you could go get it done easily and they'll, numb you, give you painkillers and all that. Back then, they was just straight chop. You know what I mean? But yeah, we can go back to Genesis 17.
Genesis
17, verse 14.
Verse 14. And the uncircumcised man-child whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised.
So this is for, and again, the Most High don't change his mind. This is what he says. He means it, right? Read.
That soul shall be cut off from his people.
Right.
He hath broken my covenant.
So us being not circumcised is breaking the Most High's covenant. So once the Most High do allow grace periods. You feel what I'm saying? So if you didn't know, you got to get it done. You feel what I'm saying? Once you turn and enter that and get that done, then you enter that covenant. Right? But read on.
And the Most High said unto Abraham, as for Sarai, thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be.
Right. So the Most High is changing everybody's names up. Change Abram to Abraham, Sarai to Sarah. Right? Read.
And I will bless her and give thee a son also of her.
And he said, letting it be known, she's going to have a child also. Sarah is in her 90s. He letting it be known, yeah, she's going to have a child also, right? Read.
Yeah, I will bless her. I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations.
And he letting it known. Now, Sarah only had one child. one child, Isaac. And he said, what?
And she shall be a mother of nations, kings of people shall be of her.
Kings of people shall come of her. That lineage, that chosen lineage, Isaac and Jacob, Israel. See what I'm saying? That's what it's talking about. Yeah, so we off the rip, we see that when he told Abraham he's gonna be a father of nations, Ishmael wasn't counted in it. You feel what I'm saying? Midian and all them other children that Abraham wound up having is not counted in there because Sarah only had Isaac. So that being the mother of nations and the father of nations is only talking about who's coming out of Isaac. Y'all see that, right?
Correct.
Right. So let's read on.
Verse 17. Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed and said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah is 90 years old bear?
Yeah, so it's you can't understand it. Yo, Sarah is old. She all dried up. She don't even have a menstrual no more.
He's got to be the only person given the commandment, and he laughed. He's got to be the only person ever being commanded and laughed like
and just laughed at it.
And just laughed it off. Like,
yeah, but he's like, it sounded funny. I guess it sounded funny to him. Like, I guess he thought the Most High. I guess he thought the Most High was joking with him. Or something.
Yeah. Like, why not? Like,
He's perfect. He's perfect.
We'll read on.
Verse 18. And Abraham said unto the Most High, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee.
Yeah, so Abraham is actually pleading that Ishmael, because that's his first son. You know what I mean? That's his first and only son. He's pleading that Ishmael be the one. Right? But read on.
And the Most High said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him.
So letting it be known right here in the same chapter that them covenants that he said was going to his seed is going to Isaac and his seed after him. Right? But read on.
Verse 20. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him and will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation.
And Ishmael, as a nation, had a long time of rulership too, during the time of the Mohammedans and all that. Had a long rulership, right? But read on.
Verse 21. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac.
But he's gonna establish his covenant with Isaac. Read.
Which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year.
So yeah, he said, next year she gonna have.
And he's telling him the son's name and all of that already. Like, you having a son, his name gonna be Isaac, and you're gonna have him next year at this time.
Yeah, no, that's a fact.
That's crazy. He gave him the name already.
Yeah, well, he told him the name. Same thing with Ishmael. He told him what to name him.
Yeah.
So he named, of course, once you have that, you see, okay, this time next year I have a baby. I gotta name him Isaac. Right, but we don't.
And he left off talking with him, and the Most High went up from Abraham.
Right, read on.
And Abraham took Ishmael, his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were bought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin in the self same day.
So you see how Abraham was? He didn't wait. That same exact day the Most High told him that, he circumcised everybody in his household, all the males in his household. Right, read.
As the Most High had said unto him. And Abraham was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised, and in the flesh of his foreskin.
Right, 99 years old, and he circumcised himself, circumcised everybody in his household. Right, read.
And Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin.
Right, so this young teenage boy got it circumcised, and he took that.
In the selfsame Abraham circumcised, and Ishmael, his son, And all the men of his house born in the house
Mm-hmm.
and bought with money of the stranger were circumcised with him.
Right. Read on.
Verse 18. And the Most High appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in his tent in the tent door in the heat of the day.
What did I
Verse 2.
just do? I went and got out of here.
And
Yeah. Keep on reading. Slakia.
and he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him.
Uh-huh.
And when he saw them, he removed them from the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground.
Right. So he see what is this doing? Salakia. All right. So yeah, he see these 3 men and coming up. So he ran up, bowed down. He noticed that the angels are
And said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, for thy servant.
Mm-hmm. So he like, yeah, come chill with me if I find favor in your sight. All right, but read on.
Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts. After that ye shall pass on.
Mm-hmm.
For therefore are ye come to your servant. And they said, So do, as thou hast said. And Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah, and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead in it.
Mm-hmm.
Knead in it.
Need it.
Knead it.
Uh-huh. Like I don't know how to explain it. Basically how they make dough.
Yeah, that's what they still call it.
Right.
And make cakes upon the hearth.
Mm-hmm.
And Abraham ran unto the herd, and fetched a calf tender and good, and gave it unto a young man, and he has hastened it to dress it.
Mm-hmm.
And he took butter and milk, and the calf dressed, and set it before them.
Mm-hmm.
And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. And they said unto him, Where is Sarah thy wife? And he said, Behold.
Real quick, let me for that one, let's get Exodus 23. This is so y'all know, because I know y'all heard things that, like for instance, Jewish people say they don't eat stuff like cheeseburgers. I know y'all heard that before, right?
No.
You never heard that? You heard that?
Nah, I didn't. No.
Okay, they say you're not supposed to eat dairy along with beef. Yeah, that's why they don't eat cheeseburgers. Dairy with beef. Reason why they get that is from this scripture right here. But this is just showing you that they don't belong holding our book. They shouldn't even be trying to read our book. Hey, Exodus chapter 23, verse I believe it's 9.
15.
Let me get there real quick. 19. Right. Exodus 23 and 19. This is why they say that, right?
The first fruits of thy land thou shalt bring into the house of the Most High thy power. Thou shalt not seethe the kid in his mother's milk.
Yeah, it say thou shalt not seethe the kid in his mother's milk. So they thinking, oh, you can't have dairy with meat, basically. That's what they thinking. But we see Abraham, which is perfect. He didn't break no laws of the Most High. He said he took milk, butter, all his dairy, and dressed it, and had a calf there for the angels to eat. Mm-hmm. They all ate that. So obviously he wasn't going against the law. What that means, y'all know what that means? Don't seethe a calf in the young.
I was just about to look up seethe.
Seethe means to boil.
Okay.
What did you say? Thou shalt not seethe the kid when she's pregnant.
Well, nah, because the kid is already born.
No, I don't know.
Well, it still has to be specifically that sheep's. It says that sheep's mother. That's not every sheep in the world.
Yeah, but that's really not what it's saying either.
Talking about the actual calf.
It's basically saying don't cook a calf that's still breastfeeding.
That's what I was just about to try to get.
That's what it's saying. Yeah, like for instance, veal is wicked as hell. That's a baby calf that's still breastfeeding. So it's saying don't take no calf that's still drinking the milk of its mother.
That's right.
People eat the veal because the meat is so
Yeah,
tender. The meat is
yeah.
so tender because it's not done developing.
Right.
Ooh,
So we shouldn't eat veal?
ooh, I didn't know that.
Veal, yeah, veal. So
No, I was
I don't know. what
now y'all know. I had veal
Well, I know
before.
what veal is.
they put
But-
it in like little cages.
Now everybody know that like when we anything the Most High tells us to get out like our sheeps and all that of the year.
Yeah.
That's when they stop breastfeeding. Well, stop drinking of the milk.
I think of Elder Rakai last year.
We was going into that, yeah. Yeah, because we made sure, yeah, like yo, okay, they gotta be of that year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Within that right after that first year, they gotta be old enough. You know what I mean? So that's what's going into Jewish people taking and say, oh, you can't eat no dairy with no meat. You know what I mean? That's not what it is at all. But now y'all know for future references. So veal is off limits.
I wouldn't have known. The water.
Yonderball, all
Basically,
praises.
like any young thing that's like still that feeds off milk.
Right.
Okay. And I lost where I was.
Verse
I'm on 18. somewhere.
18.
Come. Verse chapter 18, verse 9. Well, yeah, do 9.
Genesis chapter 18, verse 9. And they said unto him, where is Sarah thy wife? And he said, behold, in the tent.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son.
So of course, these are the angels came. They came, sat down. They like, yo, where's Sarah? They didn't even see Sarah yet. Yo, where's Sarah, your wife? How they know his wife's name is Sarah? That's from the Most High. You know what I mean? And he said, yo, they gonna come back next year, and she's gonna have a child. Right? But read on.
And Sarah heard it in the tent door, which was behind him.
Uh-huh.
Now Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of woman.
Meaning she didn't have her periods no more. She went through menopause already. It's unheard of for women to have babies after that. Once that dries up, it's over. So she was like, so what happened? What she do?
Therefore Sarah laughed within herself.
So now Abraham heard this first. Most High was talking to Abraham. You know what I mean? And he told him this. Now Sarah is hearing the angels say this. She did the same thing Abraham did. She laughed, right? But read on.
Saying, after I am waxed old shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also.
Yeah, so you're like, I'm too old to have children, and her Lord being Abraham is old also, right? But read on.
Verse
That's
13. And the Most High said unto Abraham, wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, shall I surety bear a child which am old?
Now she hearing them talking. She did a little snicker to herself, and he knew it. You know what I mean? The angels knew of it, right? But read on.
Is anything too hard for the Most High?
Mm-hmm.
At the time appointed, I will return unto thee, according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son.
Right, so you letting it be known. Like all this is to prove that the Most High is capable of doing whatever he wants. You feel what I'm saying? All this is to prove that no matter what you think, according to nature, whether the Most High, he does what he wants. If he wants you to have a baby after you done your fountain and dried up, you having that baby. He's like, yo, he could do whatever, anything. Right? But read on.
Verse 15.
I apologize, people. My neighbors got their music playing. I don't know if y'all hear that. Some weird music too.
Look.
But
I thought it was a video game. I didn't know. Man.
it sound like video game, right? Some weird stuff.
It's called.
Yeah. I think they are Issachar though.
Then Sarah denied, saying, I laugh not,
Mm-hmm.
for she was afraid. And he said, nay, but thou didst laugh.
Yeah, so she got nervous. I didn't laugh. He said, yeah, you did.
And the men rose up from thence and looked toward Sodom. And Abraham went with them to bring them on the way.
Uh-huh.
And the Most High said, shall I hide from Abraham that which I do?
Uh-huh.
seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation.
That Most High said he reveals his secrets. Matter of fact, hold on. Let's grab that Amos.
No, I was just reading that earlier.
Yeah.
Amos was it 3?
Yeah.
1.
Amos 3 verse 7.
Oh, was it?
Come.
Yeah.
Amos chapter 3 verse 7.
It's the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 7. Surely the Most High will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his prophets.
The service of prophets. So the Most High, whatever he do, he reveals it to his prophets, right? So Abraham is one of those prophets. So he letting it be known. Shall I hide this thing from Abraham, which I should do, which he's not going to do? He's going to let him know, right? So we can read on.
Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him.
He shall become a mighty nation. That's that nation of Israel, which later on became multitude of nations. You know what I mean? But he said all the nations shall be blessed in him because they're going to learn to follow the law. Right? But read on.
For I know him, that he will command his children, his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Most High, to do justice and judgment, that the Most High may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him.
And that's what the Most High is looking for. He knows that Abraham was going to teach his children the ways of the Most High, how to follow him and spread that word. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we need to do. We need to follow after Abraham's footsteps, right? But read on.
And the Most High said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it.
Right. So the Most High letting it be known, like, yeah, Sodom is wicked. Sodom and Gomorrah is wicked. He's about to do some things over there.
And this was going on at that time?
Which is come unto me, and if not, I will know. And the men turned their faces from thence and went toward Sodom, but Abraham stood yet before the Most High.
Now, I don't know if y'all remember, Lot was in Sodom at this time. Now, he knew Lot was good. Lot was a righteous man, right? So Abraham stood, he going to plead the case for Lot, right? But read on.
And Abraham drew near and said, wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Peradventure, there be righteous within the city. Wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein? Now
we about to see how slick Abraham thought he was, trying to plead with the Most High. But he said, yo, if there's 50 righteous in that place, will you destroy it? Right? But read on.
That be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked.
Yeah, so you're like, yeah, I know the Most High. I know you're not going to slay, you're not going to kill righteous people along with wicked people. You're not going to do it just because they wicked. You're not going to kill a righteous one with them. Right? Read on.
And that the righteous should be as the wicked that be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? And the Most High said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes.
Yeah, so there's 50 righteous there. He's not going to destroy Sodom. Right? Read on.
And Abraham answered and said, behold now, I have taken upon me to speak unto the Most High, which am but dust and ashes.
Right, so you letting it be known, like, yeah, I know I'm just dust and ashes, but I'm pleading with the Most High. I mean, read on.
Peradventure, there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Wilt thou destroy all the city for lack of 5? He said, if I find there 40 and 5, I will not destroy it.
Yeah, so he said, 45 people there. I'm not going to destroy this whole city. And there's a lot of people living in Sodom and Gomorrah. It was 5 cities destroyed altogether. There was a lot of people living over there. Right? But read on.
And he said unto him, oh, let not the Most High be angry, and I will speak. Peradventure, there shall 30 be found there. And he said, I will not do it.
You actually skipped.
Oh,
You skipped 29.
so
That's
and he
so
spake
good.
unto him again, and said, Peradventure, there shall be 40 found there. And he said, I will not do it for 40's sake.
So he just keep on going down. He knows Lot is there. He's trying to get down to that number to save Lot and his family. All right, but read on.
And he said unto him, O let not the Most High be angry, and I will speak peradventure. There shall 30 be found there. And he said, I will not do it, if I find 30 there. And he said, Behold now, I have taken upon me to speak unto the Most High. Peradventure there shall be 20 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 20's sake. And he said, Oh, let not the Most High be angry, and I will speak yet, but this once peradventure 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 10's sake. And the Most High went his way as soon as he had left, communing with Abraham. And Abraham returned unto his place.
Now the Most High left it off with, if there's 10 righteous people in that place, I will not destroy that place. We all know that the Most High destroyed it. So it was not even 10 righteous people to be found there. The place was wicked. But we're going to continue all this up next week. Most High will pick up at chapter 19. Hold on for a second. I'm going to end this broadcast real quick. But I just want to say, let's see. Stop sharing. Why is this all lit up like that? But with all that, we give all praise, honor, and glory to Most High. You got to go out, hit this camp, say shalom. Stay on, Ak. When I end this, we're gonna chop it up. Shalom.
Yeah, I wanted to add something. I didn't want to add it on the broadcast.
You said you wanted to add it, but not on the broadcast?